The Icons of Real Estate Podcast. Are you ready to learn the proven money-making secrets from top-producing icon agents? Ready to skyrocket your business? This podcast is for you. Tune in every week with your host, Tomasz Fonseca, and find out how to implement proven strategies to 10 times your business. From $3 million to $30 million in just 12 months. Brought to you by the Masters in Real Estate Marketing, Arter SEO.
Hello and welcome back to the Icons of Real Estate podcast. I am your host, Timothy Kaitano, and today, ladies and gentlemen, we have a good show for you. Now, today's guest, ladies and gentlemen, she has been doing amazing things in the industry for 2 decades now, a little over 2 decades now. And well, she is not only a top performer, but she is also a coach. Ladies and gentlemen, you know that this episode, we definitely going to learn a lot. So I suggest that you guys get your pens and your notebooks. Take notes because you'll be learning from the best. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome a luminary in the real estate industry, my guest today, Kimberly Falker. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you. Happy to be here.
Oh, yes. Thank you so much for taking the time to be with us. Now, Kim, 20 years in the industry. Can you take us back? How did this all start? How did you get into real estate?
Sure. So I'm originally from Tampa Bay, but I wound up going to law school as a lawyer in Boston. That's where I met my husband. He's from Minnesota, and nobody told me they all moved back. So we moved back. We moved to Minnesota, and I took the bar exam in Minnesota, and I didn't pass by 1 point. So I just didn't have it in me to do it again. And so I was a stay-at-home mom for a bit. Then I decided I wanted to get back into the work world. Didn't feel like doing the bar exam again. So my mother and my brother were in real estate down here in Florida. So I thought, okay, I could do that. So that's how I got into real estate. It was really by chance, but that was back in 2004.
Wow, 2004. And I like it because everyone's journey into real estate is unique, right? For most people say that they didn't choose real estate chose them. And I love it. I love it because people like that really fall in love with it. But at times you don't immediately fall in love with it, especially within the first year where you have to grow your business. You go through a couple of months, for some people, even a year without selling anything. What was your first year in real estate like?
Yeah, it was challenging, which it is for everybody. But A, we were new to Minneapolis. B, I didn't have a sphere. I didn't have anybody to lean into. And C, it was before the internet was really making the difference. So there were no like online leads. So it really was old school, figure it out by pounding the pavement. And so what worked for me and what it still works for me to this day, and it's something that I share with agents, is in my first year in the business, I made over 6 figures solely by doing a very strategic open house strategy. So I talked to a top agent and I said, how can I get business quicker? And he said, it's a numbers game. You have to get in front of an average of 75 people to get one deal. So I thought, how can I accelerate that? So I had 2 babies at home, but I decided I was going to do 4 open houses every weekend instead of just one. So I did, and I did them in 4 different locations. So I wanted to really learn where my sweet spot was and where the people were going to be. And so within 3 months, I got my first piece of business, and then it just kept rolling from there.
I like that. Like 4 in a week. And also being a mom, how did you find the balance? Because I know real estate can be demanding, but if you are really working hard to build your business in the first year, like time is really difficult to manage. How did you balance that?
I was very fortunate that I'm a very supportive husband, and he took over on weekends, but also I was very fortunate that my husband's parents live in town. And
Oh,
so
wow.
to be able to go to Grammy camp was as
Mhm.
good as anything because she poured out the red carpet for them every time. So I was
Yeah,
very lucky in that
grandparents are
regard.
always ready for that. If they could just keep them, they'll just take them. They're like, yeah, you
That's right.
definitely bring over. Oh,
Yeah.
that's amazing. So, how has your strategy evolved over the years? Because for most people, the first 2 years, they just trying to find what works, exploring different niches. In fact, they doing everything and finding out what really works for them. How has your strategy evolved over the years?
Yeah, and to be honest with you, in many ways, it was easier in 2004 because there weren't as many shiny objects. And I fall victim to the next greatest thing. And it's almost overload. I wind up, in today's day and age, I wind up pulling the trigger and buying the thing, or it's so much online that it gets to be noisy. It was less noisy back then, and it was a little bit more streamlined where it's like, these are the 4 or 5 ways that you can really get business. And so in the beginning, it really and truly was my open house strategy that I would start on Monday with trying, and I was always doing other people's open houses, but I was very strategic about the location, the price point, and I would get the open houses in the beginning of the week. Then I would preview all the competition throughout the week so that I had knowledge, and then I would study the data. And so, really, my whole goal then, as now, is to be the information knowledge broker when I'm at the open house. I'm not necessarily trying to sell the house. I'm trying to provide information and knowledge and look like the expert to the buyers that come in. And oftentimes that's how I would get them as buyers. And that strategy still works to this day. If I'm a little low on new business, I go do a couple open houses for somebody and I will always get a piece of business from that. But really, the strategy is always, or the process is always in consistency, and whoever talks to the most people wins the game. And so in today's day and age with the internet, if you can find a way to talk to people in person, you're going to be ahead of the game because it just a lot of new agents come in and they're buying the leads, which that's the very top of the funnel. Those aren't solid leads when you buy them typically, unless you have a huge spend with Zillow Flex or something like that. To me, especially in today's day and age, open houses are still the sweet spot because of the internet. Buyers aren't as actively having to get off the couch and into the house. So if they've actually spent their Saturday or Sunday getting in the car to go in the house, they're usually further down the journey than at the top of the funnel. And then on top of that, because of the whole new NAR issues with buyer representation, this is a free way to not have to have that conversation yet with a buyer because you don't have to have them sign anything if they come into an open house. So you can actually start the conversation and the relationship without all the burden of having to explain the contracts and stuff to them quite yet. So and it's like dating, you're building a relationship. If they like you and you like them, and the chemistry is there, then you're way further down the road than if you're trying to just cold call or trying to email because they're seeing you and it's your vibe attracts your tribe. And if they like you and they vibe with you, then it's gonna be a good relationship. So I adore open houses for that reason because I can sell myself, or I don't try to sell myself. I'm not a cheesy salesperson in open houses. It's almost going to the bar and flirting with people. If it's a good relationship, like if it's a match, it's a match. You don't have to try to make a fit if it's naturally there, in my opinion.
Like that. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys are taking notes now. Oh, not only are you guys getting real estate advice, but you can apply this in
Dating.
dating as well.
And that's what
So,
I tell them too. I'm like, you can break up with me anytime.
yeah.
We're not getting along, break up with me. Because there's one thing that I've learned over the years. I don't have commission breath. I'm not ever panicky because I feel like it's dating. It's if it's not right fit next, there's always a next. And there's
Mhm.
so much business to be had that I don't ever try and fight for it because I know organically it will come if I do the work.
Mhm.
And I also I refer out people that aren't in my wheelhouse. Like I don't work with first time home buyers anymore, but I refer them to my referral agents. And I don't work with mean people anymore
Oh yeah,
because I'm
yeah.
not that desperate for money anymore.
No,
So I think
definitely.
that's a lesson for new agents is find your avatar of who feels right for you. And that was one of the lessons I learned in that first year in doing so many open houses is I found my people. And then I really worked hard to just stay in the lane of that price point or that type. Really, my people were where I was in life. It was
Mm.
the move up buyers with their first or second baby. It's like you're typically most comfortable working with people that you can relate to. But I'll work with most anybody except for mean people.
Yeah, I mean, people are really like the most difficult people to work with.
And you
And
don't have to. That's the things you don't have to. Somebody else will.
yeah, yeah. I
And
mean,
you can get a 25% referral fee to hand off the meanness.
now you guys know how to deal with mean people, right? You don't have to work with them, but you can still reap the rewards. So, yeah, if it's not working, because it can be so stressful, right? It can be so stressful working with a person who's just being difficult and being mean. And you're like, man, what do I do? Especially when you really start to build up your database and you're like, man, but I need it. But do I really need it though? Is it worth it? So thank you for sharing that. So you heard that, ladies and gentlemen. You really have to have a unique approach of working with people that see your value. All right. Don't be afraid of the breakups. Okay.
Yeah.
Because rejection is just
Don't stay
redirection.
with that nasty person that you think that you have to date
You have to
because
stay with, yeah, but I like their smile, but no, it's
yeah.
not working.
But
All
we've been
right.
together for 6 months.
Six
No, it's
months.
okay.
It's fine. It's fine. You saved yourself from your life of pain, so just let it go. So
And you're
you
keeping doors closed as well,
mhm.
because if you're working with that person pouring all of your energy into toxicity, the doors that could be rainbows and sunshine are closed because you don't have time for it because you're spending all your. I learned it also the hard way many
Mhm.
times too.
Yeah.
It's hard to say no.
And it is a thing of it does affect you mentally, right? Especially how you
Hmm.
work with other people, right? It really affects how you work with other people who are not mean. So it's just like relationships, like what you're saying, right? Just like relationships, bad relationships can sometimes affect the next one, the good, because
Hmm.
you have this experience in your head and you're like, oh man, what if this happens with this person? What if they do this? Or what if last minute they just say they're working with someone else and it happens? So I think that's valuable advice for people. Now, you also specialize in luxury residential. Now, it's something that I always respect because you are dealing with homes that are at a different price point, attracting clients that, well, not your everyday clients. These are people that at times really know what they want because they know how much they're spending, and at times it can also be quite difficult. So how have you approached working with luxury clients?
Yes, and that's weaved a little bit over the years. I first got into luxury I think my first luxury listing was in '05 or '06. And what helped me get that piece of business was my previous life as a lawyer. So
Mm,
I was able to gain the respect of these higher profile business people because they knew that I had solid education experience. And not to fast forward, but I've restarted in multiple times. I've took a break from real estate in '08 when the market crashed because I think I had 15 million worth of listings on listed live. And when that market crashed, things just like people became mean. It
mhm,
became very stressful. And I have little kids at home still. And so
mm,
I just told my husband that I needed to take a little bit of a breather because I can't work with mean people right now. So I did take a break from real estate. We now live in Florida. And so getting into luxury here is a whole different experience.
mm,
And what I would tell anybody if they want to break into luxury, and it's what I did up in Minnesota as well, is
mm,
be very strategic about it. Think about it. Who are those people and how are you going to get that opportunity?
mm,
Once again, I started with open houses. I did other agents' open houses in the price point that I wanted to launch into. Another great strategy of breaking into luxury is to preview every single house as far and wide as you can in the area that you live in that price point, because then you become an expert at seeing what differentiates a house in the 800s, the 900s, the 1 million, 1.1. If you can get into all those different price pointed house and preview them, then you learn what they look and feel like. And then you start becoming more comfortable. You become an expert. And even like when you're at a cocktail party or gathering at a restaurant with friends, you can wind up kind of name dropping. Oh my gosh, you should have seen the kitchen I just saw. And you can describe it. And then you can actually study what the bones of these houses are made of. And I got so good at it in Minnesota that I could drive around and say probably to the number what a house would be listed at, because I had gotten into so many. Because when you're not busy in the beginning, and learn your product and get into houses every single day and learn your product as best as you can. And once you know it, once you get it, then you can feel confident to have the right to list it. And once you get one, then you'll feel more comfortable. Here in Florida, it's a little different. Most of my luxury properties are vacation homes for people, but it's the same process. And a lot of these people are very savvy. They live in other states, and most of the time they're paying cash for these luxury properties. But you start learning their cadence of comfort and conversation. But fundamentally, it's good people that have saved correctly. It's not like your social media influencers that have fast money. These are like thoughtful people that have been doing the right thing with their money. So it's more conservative thinking. So when you learn, again, the cadence of what types of people are buying the houses, then you can learn to speak academically with them. But the more you know about all the homes and all the prices, I don't care, have your bottom, say, I don't ever want to sell under this price, and then have your dream, but learn as much as you can. And the only way you can learn is get off the computer and get in the doors, like open doors every day if you can. And with today's day and age with social media, it's social proof that you're working. It's like I actually had a past client reach out to me the other day, and I don't know if you're still working in my price point. I'm like, of course I am. She goes, I only see you doing the fancy stuff. Sometimes that's just me previewing a house. And so social proof is social proof. But the more you're out in the field showing that you're working, even if you're previewing, you're still working, because to me, it's like an energy thing. Okay, if I get into these houses, I might not have that perfect buyer yet, but they'll come to me now.
Oh yeah, I like that. I like that. And I love the advice, guys, especially when you're not that busy in your first year. Then, I mean, that's solid advice, because yeah, most people will be in front of the computer, like they're all you're like, oh, what you doing? And it's like you have to get out there, go out there, go and learn about different price points, connect with people, right? You're not going to connect with people behind the desk. You have to actually go out there and talk to people. So that's solid. Now, when it comes to, I'm curious to know your strategy in making sure these listings get the attention that they deserve. How has your strategy evolved over the years, and what's been working well for you?
Yes, obviously with the internet and social media, it's evolved where you can reach way more people easier without as much money. And back when the second brokerage I was with, Sotheby's, they required us to do a certain market spend. And it was things like, this is back in the day where you didn't have the online stuff. So we literally had to put newspaper ads in for our new listings. And we had to do Wall Street Journal ads for the nicer price ones. So we were spending a ton back then to market. And that was like, there was no focus. You didn't know who was seeing it. It wasn't really a directed marketing plan. Now with social media, it's so much easier. You can create, I put a lot of behind the scenes pre-prep for my listings, and I do a launching strategy, and it's the high level, high performing photos. It's the professional videographer. We can't do legally coming soon campaigns here on MLS, but you can do it social media wise, and you can do it leading up to it. And I've had great success going back to the open house. I typically door knock the 300 homes around the houses with a personal invitation. And I know the neighbors aren't going to buy it, but what I've had luck with is they get a personal invitation. They're like, oh, we never would have thought we could come here unless we wouldn't have stopped in. What works is when you have a busy, crowded open house, it creates that urgency and that FOMO. And buyers that come in are like, oh my gosh, we got to get this. I've had multiple offers with luxury price points based on that. And sometimes people don't, luxury agents with luxury listings oftentimes don't do open houses as if it's beneath that house. I think it's the best house to do it for
Oh,
because
yeah.
people want to get in pretty houses. If I have one down on the beach, do I get tourists that come in and want to see a pretty house? Yeah, but it's still, you're marketing the process. And I think that the more you can do before to have just like they do with movies, like you want to have a big launch, you want to splash it out there as big as possible. I oftentimes do exclusive neighbor happy hour, but I've actually pivoted that to have it them come in on the public open house because I like the crowded house. I feel like
Mhm.
it changes the energy.
It actually
Once in a
does.
while, I'll do a exclusive broker open with like wine and cheese and maybe like a musician in the background. Brokers, at least in this area, don't seem to come too much. So that's a lot of times a lot of time and money that hasn't got the payoff. So I keep pivoting. That's one thing that's beautiful about real estate is you can keep changing the direction on how you do it and who you do it for. It's like I restarted my business 6 different times. So I've been a new agent 6 different times, or actually seven really, because I've changed markets, I've changed, yeah. Anyway, so yeah, you can redo and you can reinvent yourself multiple times in this world, which is nice.
Yeah. And I think that's good for agents to know because at times we feel like we have to stick within this box that we get in. Okay, this is what I'm gonna do. Even when it's not working, I'm just gonna try and make it work. I love the fact that you've always reinvented yourself. You always said, hey, I'm gonna start over and I'm gonna build this. Now, you also coach agents. I'm very curious, what over the years you've learned so much. But what is the biggest lesson that you've learned that you share with your agents today?
What I've already said, though consistency pays off in this business. Try and stay in a lane of no more than 3 different things that, like, let's say you are cold calling expireds, trying to get your sphere involved, and then open house. Try and stay in one lane for at least, or 3 lanes max, for 90 days. Don't keep pivoting because I've fallen prey to that too. I'm like, oh, I'm going to now go after expireds. Oh, wait, hold on. I need to work on my database. And I still think the best thing any agent can do is get out from behind the computer and get into the product that you're selling. Not enough agents are previewing homes. And it's such a triple win because you're having unique things to talk about with your sphere. 2, you're learning, you're becoming an expert at the product that you're trying to sell. If you don't know what a $800,000 house feels like, how are you going to sell yourself that you should be that person to sell it? Or if you have a buyer, how do you know to even talk intelligently about houses in that price point? I don't care if it's a $200,000 house. You should know your product like the back of your hand. The only way to do that is to get inside houses.
Mm,
And, I still do it now. If I'm feeling a little lax in my knowledge, I just go and preview houses. And it's fun. It's what we do for a living. And if you don't feel like, some people have a hesitation that they're like, if I don't have a buyer, how
mm,
can I say how I don't want to schedule showing, have the seller to go through all that stuff. But then just go attend open houses every weekend in the price points. If I'm running an errand on a Saturday or Sunday, I'll look up and see, are there any houses listed over 1 million that I could go and preview at an open house?
mm,
Then you're also connecting with the community of other agents and you're building rapport with other agents because it's the active, really strong agents. It's a small pool and you'll
mm.
run into them. So yeah, there's so many value. And then on top of it, it's free marketing of yourself by posting on social media. The
Mm.
easiest video to make, and it's not the sexiest, but the easiest is just stand outside of the house and say, what's $599,000 get you here in Clearwater? Let's go take a look. Take a little video, throw it into a video editor, a very simple one, and put some music behind it. And that's all you got to do. So if you don't love being in front of the camera, that's all you got to do. Just show your face for 2 seconds. You could build a whole feed of that. People love to look at houses. And this way you're in it. And then again, the perception is that you've got a lot of business going on, even if you have nothing. If there's previewing houses and videoing them, you're showing you're out in the world working
Mm.
and trying.
Hey, I like this. I really do like this. I hope you guys are taking notes because most of you guys are like, yo, how do we do this, Tim? Can you get a guest that shares? Today, you guys are getting game, and I need you to replay this, add this to your notepad, and really strategize how you're going to move forward with this plan. I think you've definitely equipped a lot of agents, especially new agents that are looking to grow their business. And I'm curious right now, before we close things off, Florida. A lot of people are definitely looking for luxury properties within Florida. What can they expect in today's market?
As far as what, price point or
In terms of
amenities?
price point, yeah, we can include that as well. And we're also talking inventory as well.
The hurricanes created a shift in the inventory.
Mm.
Thousands of homes were severely damaged, and there are many people that are still not living in their home because it's just taking a while to get fixed. So the inventory is a little funny right now because there are houses on the market at a very reduced price point, but the person that will buy them will need to finish the remediation and work on the house. Really, here, if you're anywhere near the beaches, you're not going to find something under $1 million. And obviously, they go quite high the closer to the sand that you are, or if you're on the water. But people are buying lifestyle. Can you get a house for less? Yes, but you're just going to be inland. But you're still living the lifestyle. And so, really, a lot of times when out of town buyers come here, I like to interview them on what does the Florida life look for them? Because some people don't really care about the beaches. They want to be closer to the action in Tampa. I've had folks that have moved down here and had kids that were in hockey in the states that came from. And so they wanted to be near a hockey rink, which is hilarious to me because we're in Florida. But it really is different than many cities where you're buying a lifestyle, but that lifestyle is an individual definition to them. But I can find it because I know it like the back of my hand. So I can find the lifestyle for them once I know what they're looking for.
Thank you so much. Now, Kim, we have reached the end of this episode, but before we leave, I do want people to connect with you. People that are looking for houses right now, whether you're looking for luxury or looking for luxury. I want to connect people with the best, and you are one of the best. What's the best way for our listeners to contact you?
I'm easily found on Instagram. It's just my name. Facebook, it's just my name. My email is kfalker@gmail, and I'm happy to share my phone number too if you
No,
want.
sure, definitely.
Sure. 612-743-8669. And I've actually recently, I coach agents through the mentorship program, coach agents in my organization and such, but I recently launched a new coaching program called Fail Forward. And so you only pay if you fail on the tasks that you've been assigned. And so there's a very small upfront fee, but then it's an 8-week coaching program, and you pay nothing if you succeed at the tasks that are assigned to you for that week. And we work on the tasks based on what your specific goals are, and we really bring them very fine-tuned. And so 3 goals and 5 tasks within each goals, but they're very manageable, but it really heightens the level of consistency. Like I said, I just launched, I have a few clients, and so far I've only made $150 from them because then they've been working the tail off to get the task done. But it's tasks in alignment with what their personal goals are. And we get really granular on it. And they're not hard, but they're not hard if you do them. But if you don't, then, and it has to be 100% compliance to each task. But so if anybody's interested in embarking on that, I think it's a model that I came up with based on having spent thousands and thousands of dollars on coaches and never really quite feeling like they were kicking me in the butt hard enough. And so this is a little bit of a harder kick in the butt, but it's actually not. if they succeed. So
I like it because it rewards you when you actually do succeed. So I think it's great for anyone listening to this, and you definitely want this coaching program. Please, she already gave you her numbers, so feel free to give her a call. Reach out to her. Social media handles will be in the description. Website will be in the description. So go ahead and connect. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been an amazing episode, but we have to love and leave you guys. I hope you guys go and connect with Kim. Follow her socials. Go ahead, sign up for the program. All you have to do is just work hard and you don't have to pay the rest. It's that simple, right? It doesn't get any better than this. Thank you so much for tuning in. It has been an amazing episode with your host, Timothy Kaitano, and the amazing Kimberly Falker. Till we meet again, ladies and gentlemen, take care and peace.